Hi, everybody. I'm here with Brian Hecht of the Dallas Symphony Orchestra. He's a Shires and Griego performing artist. And he'll be performing this year at the International Trombone Festival, July 13th through 16th, at the University of Central Arkansas. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Just kind of take me through your musical influences, like growing up.
Man, Ben Folds. I feel like I went through a couple of his albums over and over and over and over and over again. I'm one of those listeners that, like, whenever I find something I like, I'll kill it.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely, it'll be on repeat in my headphones until I can't stand it anymore. Like, I've just gotten all the enjoyment out of it as possible, and then I put it away and I come back to it, in like a decade sort of thing.
Yeah.
But man, I did that with a lot of music. I think, non-trombone related, Ben Folds was a big one. My brain just went landed. Annie Waits, Zach and Sarah. Those three, like Zach and Sarah, the opening.
Sarah spelled without an H was getting bored.
That was just so cool. Part of me was just enjoying it, but the other part of me was just picking up apart how great his musicianship is, and how great his technique is on the piano, and just putting everything together, because I was blown away that he recorded the drums, the piano, and the vocals.
Yeah.
And it's like, gosh, that's incredible that we're all trying to master one instrument, and this guy has mastered multiple. So a lot of, those are the first ones that pop up. Randy Hawes, Melodrama. All the way. I still will, whenever I'm like, maybe I took a break from the horn, or I'm coming back from vacation, or I was playing some tenor, I need to get back on bass, I fire up Melodrama, and it's like, that's the sound. That's how I want to play, right there. And Matthias Gerna, vocalist, his CD with Eschenbach on piano is just, it's incredible. If I could just bring those two people together and blend them into my product, I would be the happiest person.
So that's the sound you hear in your ear when you're playing?
Yeah, absolutely. Those two people, it's just, that's the focus. That's the beacon.
Do you have like a favorite ITF memory?
Probably my first one.
Oh yeah, when was that?
ITF Iowa.
You had never been before Iowa?
I had been, but I'd never
okay.
performed before. And I've been multiple times, and I've always looked up on that stage and thought, I want to be up there someday. I'll really feel like, I've reached a milestone in my career whenever I'm up there. And I think the most special moment, probably, in my career was, I didn't know how it was going to go. Of course, I was terrified. It was my very first performance in front of, all your colleagues, friends. I mean, one of the hardest crowds to perform in front of. They all know your mistakes.
Yeah.
They all also know your victories, and it's an exciting moment, but I performed my recital in front of a crowd way bigger than I thought would attend my first recital in ITF. They put me in the big hall, and I remember I even wrote to the Jay Cook at the time. I was like, "Hey, you sure you want to do that, man? put me in the smaller hall. I think that the crowd's going to look kind of small in the big hall. He's like, no. Just trust me. You're in the big hall. And I was like, all right, man. Well, it was an incredible turnout. And I was really able to lose myself in the music. And the recital went by really quickly because I was having fun up there and I was really feeling it. And after I finished, I felt it's very typical. You walk off the stage, you come back on, you do that one bout, and you walk back off. And I remember after I walked back off, I just like, had this release and this like rush of emotion, because that recital was dedicated to my mother that had just passed away a few months before that. Man, it felt like 5 minutes had gone by, and I'm just sitting there just trying to process what had just happened, and I still hear applause going on out in the hall. And I was like, I looked at the stagehand and I said, are they still going? Are they still and dude, I almost lost it.
Yeah.
And I remember I went back out there, everyone was on their feet, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, even still now, I'm just getting chills and goosebumps thinking, those are your colleagues, those are your friends, and how much they support you. And how wonderful our community is, and it was an amazing moment for me to feel that love and support from everybody. I'll never forget that.
I don't know if, you feel this way now, but like playing for the hometown crowd is way more pressure.
Yeah. I have this weird reaction that anytime my wife's in the audience, like I get super nervous. Yeah. And like I deal with nerves as part of my career, but like when I can't control them when she's in the audience, and that's like, and she's like, why? Like, of course I'm going to support you. I'm like, because I want you to think she's not a musician. I'm like, I want you to think I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I really care. I really care that you, of all people, think I'm good. So
what does that say about our normal performances if like we're like, well, we really care that you like it? Does it mean we don't actually care if audiences like it? Look, we do care, but you kind of have to divorce yourself from that feeling in order to like do this for a living, don't you think?
You said it really well, man. Yeah, you said it really well. Like, it's not that I don't care what other performances is, that it's that care gets in the way of expression and storytelling. If I'm worried about what people think about me while I'm playing, then suddenly I'm losing focus of the storyline. I'm losing focus of what I'm there to do, and that's express, through music. There's no room at the highest level of performance for introspection and for, self-thought, that sort of anxiety, I guess, that care causes. Right. And so you kind of have to put it on the shelf, and once you go on stage and pick it back up when you get off, it's just, sometimes that's harder to do with certain people in the audience.
Yeah. What's the typical thought? Like just that weird thought that pops in your head that you're like, I can't be thinking about that right now. We're trying to perform.
Man, it can be anything. Like a lot of times it's food. A lot of times it's like, all right, oh man, I haven't really eaten a whole lot this morning because of my nerves. What am I going to get after this? Like in the middle of a phrase, and I have to say like, come on, hey, focus, get back in it. Food is a lot. Sometimes I'm thinking about like the repercussions of something going well or a mistake, like, man, I wonder what that's going to sound like in the recording. Those are the common distractions that I have to sort of, wake myself up out of.
Do you have like any way to silence those voices, or just kind of like breathe and get back on it? Or do you just have to be like, not right now, we got to focus?
I saw this thing the other day that says you can't tell the brain what to do. Right? Like the brain can't comprehend the negative, right? So like if you say, don't think about an elephant, what did we all do? We all just thought about an elephant. You can't tell the brain not to do something. So instead, I have to redirect. And so when I'm performing, when these thoughts come in, I have to turn the music up. Right? It's almost like, whenever I'm at home, and if I just got a record player and I've been listening to a lot of vinyl lately, and when my kids are starting to get really loud when they're playing, I'm just like, I can't hear the music. Let me just turn this up a little bit more. And so that's sort of, you drown out the distraction. And it's something I learned in skydiving, actually, is it's target fixation. That, you know, if you are staring at the pothole in the road, stare at the pothole, you're going to hit the pothole. You stare at the way around the pothole, stare at the way around it, you're going to go around it just by fixating on a target. So same thing when performing. When these, you know, other thoughts come in, these distracting thoughts come in, I just try to turn up the music and focus on the path forward. And that's the story I'm trying to tell and what I'm trying to express. And that guides me in the right direction. It sort of pushes everything else out.
Do you have any performance horror stories that come to mind?
First of all, there's a lot.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot. You know, I felt like I've gone through a lot of tribulations and performances. Most recently, one that was like sort of, it was just like a nightmare that came true was I was performing. I was trying to perform off of a tablet, and I had like the pedals and everything, and it was at an STS, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, whenever I was first trying it out, and I was in the middle of a solo and I accidentally double tapped the pedal going forward. Yeah. And then I couldn't find the pedal going back, and I was just like fumbling to the point where it was beyond recovery. I just had to stop. And that, I think, in my mind, I've always built that up as like, that's the most embarrassing event, to have to lose control of your performance, that you've got to stop it and start it somewhere else or start from the beginning. But I was halfway through, so there was no going back. And so I had to stop. I like sort of like moved the pedal to the side and just started swiping back to find my page. And then I started up again. And that was not a very fun performance. It certainly did not go anywhere near the way I wanted it to. I've had my horn break in the middle of an orchestra performance where, you know, I was in the Atlanta Symphony, and I look over at Nate and Colin, and like my horn, it was broken to where it was letting so much air out at the valves that I couldn't make any sound. Oh my gosh. It was like taking the slide off. Yeah. Right. And I couldn't make any sound. So I left the concert after the first piece. Nate slid over and played bass. I drove home, got my other horn, drove back, made it just in time for the end of intermission, and played the second half on a different pace. And I was in my tenure process. Oh no. So like, just the thoughts of like, everyone's gonna remember this. They're gonna look back and be like, "Where's Brian? Where's this guy that's trying to, you know, get into this orchestra or you know, get tenure in this orchestra? You know, he's just up and left. You know, because it's not like you can explain yourself. No. In the middle of a concert, everyone's just gonna think what they want to think, and so that might have been a little bit of me getting in my own head, worrying about what everybody else was thinking, but. Certainly, that was a bit of a traumatizing experience.
I think of all times to worry what other people are thinking, that's probably the time. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And it was fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially my section. Colin and Nate were such supportive colleagues. They were musically and collegially just a joy to work with. And so like they made that process that was a difficult process. They made it a lot easier with their guidance and friendship there. So I have a lot of my success there. I can thank them for and helping me along. Great. Yeah.
Do you listen to music in the car? Do you listen to podcasts? What do you listen to?
Constantly, I'm listening to music. Let's see. What happens to be up right now? I follow a lot of Spotify's suggestions when they say you might like this album. I'll say okay. Fine, I'll check it out. And the one that's actually up right now is Julia Michaels. Not in chronological order. I had never listened to it until yesterday, but that's what was most recent on my playlist. But if I go to, you know, everything that's like, there's like the top albums that I've been listening to. Hamilton was just recently the Broadway cast performance. I feel like once a year I sort of just binge on that. There's just so much great music in there. It'll take you hours to get through the whole thing. That musical is just, it's solid songs, you know? Yeah. There's that one. There's what I'm studying for the Dallas Symphony season. So we have Symphonie Fantastique this week, and so I've been listening to that one. And then I have this playlist that I've been putting together for like 10 years probably. Like anytime I hear a song I like of any genre, except for classical, I have a classical as its own playlist. But anything like, outside of classical music that if I like the song, I immediately just add it to this playlist, and I just kind of put it on shuffle. So it's all of my favorite songs, and currently I have 47 hours and 38 minutes of music on it. And it's the most recent song was Passion Pit.
Oh yeah.
That's a really cool one that I really enjoy. There's it kind of goes all over. There's some Old Dominion, some Luke Combs, some BB Rexa, some Sia, Cardi B, Zach Brown Band. I don't know if I said that already. The Weeknd. It kind of gets all over the place. And I think the Crosby, Stills and Nash is the one sitting on my record player right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you said that's from your childhood?
The Crosby, Stills and Nash. I mean, yeah, certainly my dad played that a lot as I was growing up, but I haven't heard it in forever. It's not a band I usually queue up. And so whenever my dad found out that I got the record player, he allowed me to come over and, sort of steal from his collection. And as I was going through them, he's like, you gotta have this album. You've gotta listen to it just front to back, all the way down. Just experience this album. He's like, this defined my late 20s. And so it's kind of cool to, I think not only experience music and discover music for yourself, but I see music as it encapsulates moments in your life, and there's memories that are tied to music. We fired it up, and he immediately said that this flood of memories came back. Like he can almost like a memory from every time he started it on his own record player growing up, and I thought it was really cool to be able to learn another side of my dad through the music that defined his life. And so I've got a bunch of those sort of life-defining albums that he gave me, and I'm just sort of bit by bit kind of, having those same experiences of my own, and in my mind they kind of relate to his.
Nice. That's awesome.
Together they are for each other.
Do you know what you're doing at ITF this year?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm really excited about it, actually. I feel like my plate's already so full, but it's a very exciting because with, the recent drought in performances, I feel like I'm hungry. I'm hungry to express. I'm hungry to, play again and, open things back up. So we've got a lot of really cool things. I've got a solo with the Fountain City Brass Band. I'm playing Wim Bex's Vademecum. That's always been a challenging piece for me and just a lot of fun to conquer. It just feels like, I've never, climbed Mount Everest, but it feels like maybe not the Mount Everest of solos, but it's extremely challenging. So something very similar. And to get that performance ready is always a lot of fun to work up and such a joy to play. So Wim Bex's Vademecum with Fountain City Brass Band. I have a solo recital with a lot of great music from Elizabeth Raum, Brahms, Ricardo Mola, and Iwezen. I'm doing a really exciting duet with Martin Skippers, Wechselposaune, and the Concertgebouw. We are playing with the UCA Natural Slides, Jay Cook at the helm. And it's a really cool new piece that we're having commissioned for duo bass trombone, almost like battling bass trombones in a very cool, I think, visually and musically intriguing environment and piece. It's based around the game of chess. And so, one of us is going to be in all white, the other one's in all black to represent the two sides of the chessboard, and so will the quartets behind us. And so it's really, we're wanting to bring not only a really exciting new composition to ITF, but we want to start moving into, being more visual with performances at ITF. And so we're excited to bring that performance to the stage. I've also got a performance with the ITF All-Stars on the first night of the festival. And then throughout the festival is the Dallas Symphony Orchestra is one of the featured sections. and we have a master class and an excerpts performance, which I'll be doing, I think, almost entirely on tenor. There might be some bass in there, but kind of mixing it up this ITF with like a lot of bass and a little bit of tenor, and bringing sort of my new Vexel abilities to the stage is going to be a lot of fun.
So you won't be busy at all that week?
No. Should be pretty light. Yeah.
I've taken too much of your time already. So if you want to catch the great and wonderful Brian Hecht, you can come on out to the International Trombone Festival this summer, July 13th through 16th at the University of Central Arkansas. Thanks for being here, Brian.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you guys at ITF.
Yeah.